friend. Welcome to Purpose Unlocked, the space where dreamers, doers, and changemakers like you come to build legacies that truly matter. I'm Christy Smith, your anti-cookie cutter coach, sustainable legacy builder, and author of The Intuitive Entrepreneur. Here to help you build a business that doesn't just look good on paper, but feels good in your bones. If you've ever felt that quiet pull for more purpose, more freedom, more impact, you're in the right place. Every week, we'll have real, unfiltered conversations about what it takes to build a purpose-driven business and a life that actually feels good. You'll hear stories, strategies, and mindset shifts from visionaries who are redefining success their own way, authentically, intentionally, and unapologetically. Because this isn't just about growing a business, it's about creating a legacy that lasts. So take a breath, grab your coffee, and let's unlock your purpose together. So let's talk about care. Not the self-care as a checklist, not the care as an afterthought, but care as a business strategy. Because how you care for the work determines how long it can last. Most people don't fall out of love with their work, right? We come into this, whatever this is for you, with a passion. I can tell you after almost 30 years, I have not met an entrepreneur who isn't passionate about what they want to do. They love it. Now, seriously, you guys, I'm not saying, hey, this person wants to do whatever. They don't necessarily love all the behind the scenes, the paperwork, the accounting, I've got to post on social media. Like, business owners don't like everything that comes with the business, okay? But the work that they wanted to do, that they are passionate about, the reason why they started their project, their business, whatever, that they don't fall out of love with that work, okay? What happens is they fall out of capacity, okay? And there's a difference. Love, it's gonna burn hot, and sometimes it'll smolder a little bit, and it's just like any relationship that you have in the rest of your life, right? Sometimes your kids can be super frustrating, and you love them, but you might not like them in that moment. Same with your partner, same with your parents, same with your friends. Like, there's this ebb and flow of not everything is 50%, 50-50 every single second of every single day. There's seasons. And so sometimes, even with your work that you love, you're going to kind of, feel that fade. And we talk about that a lot. But there's a bigger component to it sometimes, and that is about capacity, right? And that's how much you have to give, how much you have to love that work, right? And we have to talk about this because we ask so much of ourselves, and we typically do it for too long. And eventually, the work that you absolutely loved and you were going to change the world with starts to feel heavy. And in that moment, I want you to know that it is not because the work is wrong. It's because it's unsupported, right? Love for your work isn't proven by how hard you push, right? It's proven by how well you design it. And care in this moment looks like systems that don't rely on constant willpower, boundaries that protect your energy, and offers that don't drain you to deliver. Okay, so let's talk about each one of these just a little bit, so that way we can kind of get some basis around this. Systems. I've spoken a lot about setting up workflows, right? Or I batch everything. So just for example, I'm in January right now. I've got 4 podcasts that I'm going to post in February. This is one of them that you are listening to right now. This was not done last minute. This was done ahead of time, and I got it all squared away, and I have it as a scheduled post, right? So that way I can batch things. So there's a lot of systems that we could put in play. Auto answering, things like that, that will help us so that way, system wise, so that way we're not having to carry that burden, right? Boundaries are things that protect your energy, right? So the main thing I want you to hear from me about boundaries is boundaries are about what you are going to accept or not accept from others. You cannot control someone else's behaviors with your boundaries. And I'm going to do a super simple example here, guys. If you say, I'm not going to respond to emails outside of my stated office hours. Wonderful. Let everybody know. There can be office hours posted on your website. It can be in emails, things like that. You can have an out of office message sent out every time an email comes in when it's outside of your office hours, if you want a system. And you have to respect yourself enough to not answer that email outside of office hours unless it's emergency, right? Like we all have emergencies and we know what those are. Every little thing is not an emergency, so you're going to have to decide that for yourself. All right. So that's your boundary. You're not going to respond. You put all the systems in place, everything like that. Okay. That is all about you and protecting your energy. Others can still email you outside of your office hours. You cannot stop that from happening. You cannot tell somebody else, this is my boundary, you have to respect it. You can't email me outside this, right? The boundary is yours, right? It's for your stuff. The boundary is you're not going to respond, not that somebody else can't have an action, right? They can email you anytime that they want. The expectation has to be there that you are not going to respond. So that's kind of that differentiation that we have to make sure that we wrap our minds around when it comes to boundaries. A lot of times I hear, well, somebody's still doing blah, 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 whatever the boundary is, right? They feel like their boundary is still being invaded. Is it? Or is it just that you can't control the other person's behaviors? It's your reaction to it that you can control, right? So, and the other one that was on there was offers that don't drain you to deliver. And I just put offers. I know that's kind of more of a coaching consulting term, but it can be products, it can be services, it can be classes, it can be books, it can be whatever it happens to be. The things that you are putting out into the world. Let's talk about how that we can do that so they don't drain you to deliver whatever it is, to make it, to launch it, to sell it, things like that, right? So those things need to factor in when you are thinking about care, right? If you're trying to launch too many things and your schedule's full and you've got 90 million other things going on in that season, maybe you don't launch something that season. Maybe you only launch one thing instead of 5 things, whatever it happens to look like. We just have to make sure that we're doing it in a way that doesn't drain you to get that out there, okay? Care also looks like rest that isn't earned, but integrated. And I know you guys, this can be a hard one. It's a hard one for me. I am, I'm even today, I catch myself doing it. I will text my husband, oh, I rode for X amount of minutes, to make sure that I got my exercise in. Oh, I shoveled the deck because, I want the back deck cleared since Duke, my puppy, has to go out, go potty, even in the snow. And it's like I want these little dopamine hit awards because I did something, right? And And none of that really matters. The flip side is if I I read my book for an hour, right? That means I was resting and I want a reward for that. And yeah, I just typically turn to my husband for that. But just know we don't have to do all of this work for rest to be okay. Rest is okay all on its own, and it has to be integrated. There's no way possible that we can multitask and go 100 million miles per hour all the time. So just realize if you're catching yourself in that trap of, I have to earn my rest, just know you don't have to earn it. If you need to rest, you need to rest. All right, so I do want you to hear and understand that burnout doesn't come from doing meaningful work, right? It doesn't come from what you really want to do, what you want to put out in the world, how you want to impact the world. It comes from doing meaningful work in unsustainable ways. When you remove care, even aligned work becomes unbearable. And when you add care, even hard work becomes possible. So here's your reflection prompt. If your work feels heavy, ask yourself gently these 3 questions. Okay? And again, gently. What would make this kinder? Number 2, what would make it easier to stay with? And number 3, what support have I normalized going without? And those are your 3 reflection questions. You can always stop it, come back, rewind it, things like that. And on that last one, I want you to really hear the going without, right? Care isn't indulgent. It's how impact survives. And work that survives long enough becomes legacy. Thank you for tuning in to Purpose Unlocked. I'm so glad you're here. Every time you press play, you're choosing to invest in your growth, your purpose, and the legacy you're meant to create. That matters. If something in today's episode resonated, take a moment to share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because when one of us rises, we all rise. If you haven't already, hit follow, leave a review, or share your biggest takeaway on social. I love hearing what's landing for you. Remember, you weren't made to blend in. You were made to lead, to create, and to build something that lasts. So take what you've learned today, trust your intuition, and go make bold moves toward your purpose. I'm Christy Smith, your anti-cookie cutter coach and sustainable legacy builder, reminding you that your dream isn't just possible, it's waiting for you to claim it. Let's keep unlocking purpose together.